In this training video, I'll show you the exact landing page that I use to grow my funding business past $30,000 a month and collect hundreds of thousands of dollars in the process. So I'll show you exactly what to include so you build massive trust and authority with your prospects so you book a lot more sales calls. So I'm gonna break everything down so you know what to do. So at the very top, we have our big promise, okay? So what can they expect when they work with us? So in this case, we have a big funding amount in a short amount of time, right? People want big results fast. So that's why we're making this big promise here. If you can't make a big promise in your funding program, you need to improve your funding program, because if you don't have a big promise, people will choose someone else that does. So we start with the very big promise here, getting people excited about actually getting interested on what we do and continuing down the page. Next, we have our VSL. So we need the VSL right away because this is really our biggest sales asset. So the point of a VSL is to now warm them up on you and your process. So you want to explain exactly how you came up with your program and what's unique about it so that you really stand out. And you also want to talk about your backstory so they can connect with you and relate with you, right? There's a lot of different funding coaches out there. Why should they pick you? And finally, at the end and towards the end of your video, you want to sell them on the dream, right? Your program is meant to really make it easier, make it faster so that they can get all this funding. So this will then allow them to either launch their business, scale their business, invest, or what have you. So the VSL is very, very important. I have a full training on creating your VSL. I'll drop that link above right here. But overall, you want to hit all the right pain points and all the right desires that'll then get them really excited about taking the next step, which is right below, which is the sales call. Okay, so I put the sales call right here. There's no button. I don't want to give any chances to my prospects to basically get distracted by the dog, the kids that are crying, or their cell phone, right? Right here, they can very quickly basically see what we do, how does it work, and now the next step, okay? So this is basically called above the fold. Before they even scroll down, they can already get all the information they need about taking the next step with me. It's called above the fold because back in the day, if you wanted to get your news, you'd have to buy a newspaper, which were folded over. And so the front of the newspaper is what you were buying, basically. So advertisers would put certain information above the fold to get you to buy. So in this case, above our fold, which is basically before we even scroll down, we want to have as much as possible. So our big promise, the VSL, which is very important, and then the action item. All right, so then we have the actual calendar right here. You can integrate this very easily with most website builders. I happen to use Go High Level. It's a great platform. We can do so much here. And I also have the calendar integrated from Go High Level. So within here, we have the booking first. They can choose their time, select, and then it pops up the form, okay? Because we do want to collect information on our prospects. We want to qualify them ideally. Back in early 2023, I didn't really care about qualifying. I was just trying to basically get as much volume as possible, thinking that that would blow up my business. But I was booking about 20 to 40 calls every single week. And I think about maybe 70% of those calls were completely unqualified, right? One of my calls was someone that didn't have any money. He was sitting on a crate when we hopped on the call. So, goes to show that you really should qualify your prospects first. So with this right here, we're basically going to see what are their goals, where are they at, and are they committed? That's what the form's all about. Without going overboard, you still want to make it very easy for them. The more you add here, the more information you collect, but the more complicated it becomes and the higher chances that someone hops off. So you still want to be detailed, but not too much. You can even just copy the questions that I have right here, and this should get you the ball rolling. But at this point now, they can simply just click on this button and the meeting is booked, which will then get them on the thank you page, which then breaks down the program even further and gets them excited about actually showing up on the call. But at this point now, we've already sold them on the next step, okay? We're not really trying to sell them so much on the program, although we are. We're really just trying to sell them on speaking to us, okay? Because if we have a sales conversation, now we at least have a shot at closing the deal. And through this entire process right now, we've got them excited about hopping on the call, but the remainder of the landing page allows us to actually break down some objections and make that call a higher likelihood of closing. So if we scroll down a little bit, we can see our proof, okay? So one of the biggest objections our prospects have in their mind is, will this actually work, okay? Is this Fugazi, basically? So right down here, we can add different videos from our clients, such as testimonials Or if you had a call with a client that went really well, you can add that right here. And ideally, you can add some little quick bits right there with some quotation marks from the video, ideally. And this allows you to have proof that you actually know what you're talking about because you've done it many times before. So we have videos right here. We also have a bunch of screenshots, okay? I have like hundreds of screenshots now. I just tossed a couple up right here as an example. But basically, throughout this entire process, now I'm in their mind increasing the likelihood that it'll work because it's worked so many times in the past, okay? And then below, I have a way for me to connect with the prospects. So one of the biggest issues that you might be running into in your own funding business at the moment is comparison shopping, right? I used to hop on a bunch of calls with prospects before I integrate this into my business with them telling me that they have 2 other calls with funding companies coming up and they want to speak to them before making a decision, right? And you're probably running into that right now as well. But I had that objection come up a lot less when I started using YouTube, because YouTube allows me to basically become their credit expert because they're spending time with me. They're getting their answers question from me. They're understanding the entire process. They're getting value. They're taking steps, right? You become their person. So that's why I think YouTube is so powerful. And you don't need a ton of subscribers. You don't even need a ton of videos. You really just need 3 to 5 key videos that really provide massive value and break down certain objections so that you can basically do all the heavy lifting before we even hop on the call, right? I have some objection handling videos right here, right? How long does it take to get funding? Or what do you need to get funding, right? What are the requirements? Then I provide some value so they can even get funding on their own if you want to. But overall, even Alex Hormozi talks about it. You don't want to hold back the secrets. You want to give the secrets away so that now people are paying you for implementation. And that's the most important piece, right? Because you become their person and now they want to work with you. So that's why YouTube has become so powerful for me. I've even had people reach out to me on Instagram saying that my free content was so helpful. They can't even imagine what's in my paid program. I get that all the time. So that's what can happen when you start to integrate YouTube into your content system. And throughout the page, you can also see this right here, right? So let's get you funded. It's basically a very easy way for my prospects to not forget the entire purpose of this landing page here. They can click and get basically pushed right back into the call booking section, all right? But basically this entire funnel here is very meticulously put together by having the above the fold information with the big promise. How does it work? Take that step. Below we have proof content, and even further we have connection content. And putting this all together allows me to drive a lot more sales call bookings, but also increase my close rate by so much. By integrating this all together, by having a basic landing page, most of our clients had a below 20% close rate, but on average, most of our clients are closer to 38 or 39% now, which is double just by integrating this. So it's a very, very powerful system. But hopefully this makes sense. Our clients actually get access to this entire template, as well as the thank you page, as well as the pre-call nurture sequence with SMS and email drops all the way leading up to that call. And it's already pre-built. They get access to it day one by having the templates through Go High Level. So if you wanted access to all these templates and you wanted to learn more about working with us, you can check out the pinned video on my channel or click on the link down below so you can go check it out. Otherwise, even if we don't work together, I hope these videos are very helpful for you and you can get some results on your own. But thanks again for hopping on this video, and I'll see you on the next one.